school did a team building at the local humane society, and we got out there and we made dog treats and we fed the dogs and we walked the dogs. And it was cool because as I was walking a dog, I was partnered up with another apexer.
Welcome to Fry Your Chickens, the podcast about facing fears, negativities, and self-doubts that can hold us back. Or as I like to call them, chickens. Get ready because it's time to tell those chickens that are holding you back to shut the cluck up. We will learn how real people did exactly that. I'm your host, Phil Barth. Let's get ready to fry. My guest today is Erica Woods. Erica and I have known each other for a while, and we're going to talk about what she does. But I want to dive right into it. We met in April of 2023 at a conference in Orlando. I had a breakout session called Fry Your Chickens. And you were in the audience, and you had some really good comments and feedback and questions. I was like, she really gets this. And I was right. You really do get this. But the question you asked me, do you remember the question you asked me toward the end?
I don't.
Okay. You said, what chicken are you going to fry next? And I thought about it for a second. And it was one of those things where I was just like, first thing that comes into my head, it's going to go out. And what I said was, next year at this time, I will be retired and a full-time professional speaker. And I got off the stage and we talked for a while and I thought, what the hell did I just commit to? But it set everything in motion. And March 31st of 2024, I retired from my IT job, as you know, and I'm now a full-time professional speaker. Shows the power of a good question. Erica, welcome to the Fry Your Chickens podcast.
Yeah, it is amazing to be here. And I'm not surprised I asked that because I've been probably for the last 10 years a fan of like ABF, always be frying, right? Like there's always, once you tackle a challenge in your life or a goal in your life, it can't end there. It can't end there. It's always what's next. What are you going to fry next?
I love it. Love it. All right, so you are in charge of philanthropy for Apex Systems. Tell me about Apex Systems first, and then we'll talk about what you do.
Yeah, I'm one of those lucky people. I started at Apex right after college. I've been here for going on 20 years in different capacities, which is almost unheard of these during these times. But Apex, we're a technology services firm, so we support a range of clients across North America whenever they need to hire project teams or do staff aug for technology specific projects. And my particular role, I'm our director of talent experience, and social impact is kind of a new term, and that incorporates a lot of philanthropy and volunteerism. What are we doing to help kind of early talent? So STEM programs, veteran programs that support people getting into tech, kind of all of that social responsibility. And then that also incorporates, which is a kind of a key focus of my job, just are we taking care of our people, our candidates, our job seekers, our consultants, our clients, and then people in our communities.
I love the fact that your company has that position and takes it so seriously that we're taking care of our people, and things like philanthropy sounds like a really good fit. And I'm not surprised that you stayed there for 20 years, and I'm not surprised that they have kept you around for 20 years because it's such a good fit. And I have been a part of a couple of your toolbox talks. I have seen some of the things you do for employee morale, and I just think it's amazing. So really, really kudos to you on how you're doing that, on what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of that, was last year, I think you gave a presentation in Washington, D.C. And I think my flight got in time for me to see the second half, and you were talking about team building activities. Tell me about some of the team building activities you've done.
Yeah, and it's cool because I get to collect stories, just like you're doing with this podcast. but I collect stories of different natures. And so a lot of the ideas that are in that team building playbook are ideas from across our company, from different client events. But I'll never forget, I had a month where I had four kind of IT directors or PMO directors ask me in 1 month, hey, do you have any creative team building ideas? And it even happened in December when I gave this talk. People are like, all we do is happy hours. People are happy hours out. They're pizzaed out. Like most employees don't want another pizza party. They want just a variety of team building. And some of that could even be self-service. So an example that I love to share is a lot of our teams have done wellness bingo or wellness contests. Our Raleigh team in North Carolina, they just rolled this out a few weeks ago, and it's self-paced, but daily updates. They talk about it in the office. It sparks conversation around wellness, and it include things like give three people, write gratitude notes for three people, take a 15-minute walk during the middle of the day, catch yourself being negative and find the silver lining. And so I think about some of the ideas I love the most, I personally never would have thought of. Another one is farms. People love to volunteer at farms or just get out in nature and volunteer, whether it's a trash pickup or a botanical garden. Like, there's just so many clever ideas that I've seen, and those ideas are really starting to spread, which makes me happy.
That is so cool. I wrote down wellness bingo. I think that's really cool because it's something where you can still be doing it. I mean, as we're sitting here, we are facing snowmageddon starting tomorrow in Ohio. So they keep revising the forecast up and up and up. But if I'm playing wellness bingo, I can be home and still be doing things and playing wellness bingo. And I love the idea of what was it like? Write gratitude notes to people. That can be an email. That could be something you mail. Just a quick. People love that, and I find I've done that before, and I find when I do that, I benefit. You know, if I send somebody a note and say, "Hey, I really appreciate you for this," that they benefit. But just me saying that makes me feel better. It's like you kind of have that connection. So, well, big fan, and I'm a big fan of getting out and doing things.
It's really true. I mean, kind of that cliche statement of you get when you give. It's a corporate goal of ours that every one of our teams does typically a team building once a quarter. But one of those team buildings throughout the year, we want to be philanthropic in nature, right? Because you get when you give, and it's a different type of learning about people. In November, I volunteered with my Tampa team. We did a team building, and we called it a team building at the local humane society, and we got out there and we made dog treats and we fed the dogs and we walked the dogs, and it was cool because as I was walking a dog, I was partnered up with another apexer, and I'm not in the office a lot, and so I got to have kind of these like 15 to 20-minute conversations with somebody in my local office because I'm corporate, and it was amazing. And I got to know about like all these different people at a 1v1 level while we were accomplishing something for good. And that will probably be one of my highlights of a team building that we did last year.
Oh, that's great. Anytime you can involve dogs is a very positive thing. You know how I feel about dogs. I think I mention them frequently in my keynotes, and we will have a guest dog on here before the podcast is over.
Yeah. And the one thing like that popped into my head too, the other question I get is, what are some cost-effective team buildings? Phil, how much did we spend on that team building when we volunteered? $0. $0.
Less than a happy hour.
Yep, a lot less and a lot more meaningful. I
And
mean, I'm biased.
no, but you're right. And here's the thing, people, there's some thought that went into what you're doing. As opposed to, oh, we need to do a team building. Oh, let's just go for a happy hour, right? I'm too busy to think about team building, so we'll just all go to the bar and have a drink,
Mhm.
and then we can check that off. I really like what you're doing here, and it's not just you that's thinking about it. It's
Mhm.
bringing everybody together, and it sounds like ideas are coming together from the entire company. And you know what? That's how chickens get fried. Okay, now you told me of a team building that you have been doing, and well, I'm just going to say it. It's the typing speed test.
Hmm.
Tell me a little bit about the typing speed test before we actually go to the next phase of the podcast. Guess what
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah. I love it. So, like a lot of the team buildings that have been like a hit, started as a surprise hit. It kind of started as a running joke because I was talking to two different coworkers who were just so incredibly efficient, productive, and they can type like a paragraph in what seems like 10 seconds. And I said, I want to pit you guys against each other in a typing test. I wonder who would win. And I didn't expect to win, and I didn't. I got third place. But so we jumped on a meeting, on a Teams meeting, and it was at 9:30 on a Friday morning. And we chatted for a couple minutes first, and then we did a typing test, and a couple things happened. One, I was kind of, all of us were kind of dragging going in. It was a Friday morning. Like we had already had one meeting each but when we left that typing test 20 minutes later, all of us were amped up, adrenaline rush, and then we were more, it impacted the rest of our day. And I love what you say about having a morning routine, and like you've got to be intentional about a morning routine because
Mhm.
it sets the stage for your day, which I truly believe in. But this was a perfect example of something that didn't take a lot of time that then set the rest of our day. Well, then we had a lot of spiral conversations, and actually it just happened because we do a typing test now once every 6 weeks with whoever wants to join. And we had six people join our typing test, and we learned all these fun facts about each other. Like one of the people she did classical piano for 13 years. And how cool is that? So it started kind of as a like, I wonder who is faster, has now turned into, we do this every 6 weeks. We've done four of them so far. We learn a lot about each other, including different typing tests that I never would have thought of. And now that idea has spiraled. Let's turn this into a virtual office Olympics. And we'll have four events, including math challenges. We'll do a spelling bee. So that's kind of how this is evolved at Apex, if you will.
Okay, totally love it. So many questions. I like the idea of a math challenge. I'm not so sure how well I would do in a spelling bee, simply because if it's, I don't know, memorable. ABLE, IBLE, or EBLE. I always mess those up. So just a thought. But here's the key question that popped into my mind as you said that.
Yeah,
Did the lady with the classical piano training, win the typing test?
she did. She got 112 words per minute. I didn't even know that
Oh,
was physically possible.
whoa.
Uh-huh.
Well, I figured maybe with 13 years of seeing something and knowing where to put your hand, it might
Mhm.
carry over. I never would have thought. If you would have said, Phil, guess how fast she was? I don't know, 80? Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. She puts a lot of us to shame. I have to, there's one other coworker that we need to get involved in this, but now that I'm going, I gave this task to myself that I'm going to organize a company virtual office Olympics. And to your point about spelling, people, we're going to have four events, but you just sign up for the ones you want to participate in. Because one of the things I've learned is not every event is for everybody. We do an Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader challenge with our executive team, and we pit 16 against each other every year. We do this November, December, and we have the rest of the company can be part of a watch party. But I would say half of the people that I reach out to that are director or above, half of them have the same reaction I would have, which is, oh, I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. I don't want to embarrass myself publicly like that. And I always say, thank you for being honest with me. I get that this event is not for everyone.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
See, I would embarrass myself because I'd be hyper competitive on some of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
in your face, fifth graders, or I'd lose, and you know. All right. Okay, so here's the thing. I we can't do an Are You Smarter Than the Fifth Grader or a math challenge, but we could do a typing test. So, do you want to do a typing test
Always.
live and on the podcast? All right. I'm going to bring up the website, which you're going to tell me what to do from here, and you will do. And I guess we do it at the same time, right?
Yeah, so and again, it's funny the different things you learn about. But I always did typingtest.com, but the one we did that I'm going to recommend is monkeytype.com. And then we select time and we select six on the right, you'll select 60 seconds. So or we'll just do 30 seconds to make
No,
it.
well, if you want to do 60, that's fine because I will put like 1 minute of the chicken dance in when we do the final recording. So, all right, now time,
You
click.
got this. 60. You ready?
Oh, there we go. Over here, it's on the right. 60.
Yep.
Okay, and then do I type what's coming up, or how do I do that?
Yeah, let's do a countdown. Three, two,
Okay,
one, and then you just start typing what's on
okay.
there.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
How'd you do?
Um, 76 words per minute, 85% accuracy. Uh, Let me share the screen, show you what I did because I just botched it so badly out the gate. Let me show you. Okay, so see how I set it 0
Mm,
for like 9 seconds? Because I got off and I was like, why are all the words turning red? Why are all the words turning red? Now, my words per minute were good, but my accuracy was bad. But then I did get the accuracy up, and the words per minute stayed right around 76. There you go. How'd you do?
I got 80 words a minute. Recognize I've done that. I mean, I just did it this morning, ironically. So I'm warmed up, but I got 80 words a minute with an accuracy of 97%. But I'm one of those people I have to delete and then fix the inaccuracies. So it's even little things like that. It's funny, kind of with your coworkers, like, oh no, I just let those go. I don't mind the red at all. So we were joking at one point about which of us have OCD versus which of us don't because of that fact. So, I think about team building and I think of what are those things that you can do to help team members truly like get to know each other? And it's little activities like this that, I mean, you can do in 10 to 15 minutes, that really can help people and spark some fun. Our Columbus, Ohio office, your home state, they ended up doing a typing test just as a team for 10 to 15 minutes, and had a blast. Our Minneapolis office does the same thing periodically.
I, so I just thought I was like, especially toward the second half, I thought I was killing it. But I can't imagine going like 60% faster or whatever the classically trained pianist is. I mean, you just see that raw number that's like, well, that's impressive. And then you realize you're typing your brains out at 76. And
Yeah.
if we each had to type 76 words, she'd be taking a coffee break after getting hers done.
Well, Phil, you got to keep in mind, I think the average words per minute, we should fact check this, but I think it was around like 36 words a minute. And this is what I told somebody on the last typing test that was like, oh no, I didn't beat Regan. And I was like, well, don't expect to. She's in the top 1%, right? Your words per minute is double the average person. Focus on that.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I'm fine with that. The other thing is I used to be I got to backspace and correct it. But the more I use AI and or spell check, I'm like, it'll clean it up. AI
Mhm.
is the worst, right? I can type something to Chat GPT and get half the words right and it knows what I was saying. So it's teaching me bad habits. Maybe I should just use my voice on AI. I don't know.
Mhm.
This is really cool. And as much fun as it was losing to you in a typing speed test, I'm glad I came that close. Honestly, I didn't think I thought you'd blow me away. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, we should do best out of three, not right now, but that was your first time doing it. So, of course, there's going to be a learning curve. I bet you would beat me on the second one.
Well, that's kind of you to say, but we always encourage sucking up to the host here on the Pod Fry Your Chickens podcast. Okay, and the other thing was I just love the way you learn about people in 15 minutes. Cost of typing speed test 0.
Hmm.
So I mean that is just so cool. All
Yeah.
right, now I want to go to something else because you gave me a gift when we were in Washington D.C. you have a lot of the People Magazine, is it? I think it is, yes, People Magazine stories to make you smile. And this is the one I wanted for the podcast. There it is. It's a little dog. I think it's a 6 pound dog that wears different outfits and became an Instagram star. I love that because it's dogs, but I also love the whole idea of having a file of things that make you smile. Tell me about that. When did you get started, and how does it work for you?
Yeah, and I just made a note to myself because our Tampa office, we have one of those like kind of the free little library concepts. I'm gonna bring my stack of ways to make you smile into the office. But yeah, I only read two magazines in Psychology Today and People Magazine. And I love that they added stories to make you smile in every weekly edition, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but they truly make me smile. And so I rip them out, and I have actually a pile of them right now in my guest room, and I encourage people to read them when they visit me. Because there's just so many good ones. And then, like, I have a friend who's a cat lover, and you could do this with your team if you every one of us has a cat lover or dog lover on our team, or somebody that likes crafts. There's a lot of really cool craft ones. You can save some of those up and just, either have them in the office, in your kitchen, or give them to people personally, which is really, really cool. But it's been a joy to kind of continue to spark other people's smile by paying those stories forward.
It literally does make me smile. And there's the kitty. I'm holding up an article if you're listening to this with a kitty with a pirate's hat, and it's the klepto kitty steals hearts and anything else not nailed down. So
Yeah, I
great
love.
stories.
Yeah.
I think I told you my favorite is they had a load of watermelons and fruit and whatnot get spilled on the highway, so they took it to the animal shelter, and they got a picture of this beaver just gnawing on watermelon like this is the greatest gift anyone's ever given me. So cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I don't know if you have, when you fill your car up, they have the little video thing on the
yeah.
pumps now. And one of them is Tank's Good News. And he just has a quick story. I don't always get it when I fill my car up, but it's like a quick little good news story to make you smile when you're filling up your car. I mean, people don't normally smile when they're filling up their car with gasoline, but Tank and his good news make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. And, I'm going to relate this to kind of back to the team building topic. One of the best team buildings I was ever a part of and we did it during COVID, was we did a virtual book club with Sean Akers, The Happiness Advantage. And I allowed my team to expense it. I think it's like $12 for that book. And he also has his TED Talk. But we read a chapter a week. I know his TED Talk's amazing. But we picked a chapter a week and we just talked about it, and we grew together as a team. And one of my team members was like, this was the best free therapy I've ever gotten. Um, $12 for team building. Gosh, that's two drinks. If we like equate some of these ideas, like there's 8 chapters, I think, in that book. At least he talks about 7 principles that drive positive psychology and happiness. But you can apply that and turn that into a team building with your team.
His TED Talk is so good. I
So good.
and it was during COVID. So here you are having positive moments with your team during COVID. And
Hmm.
there was a lot of negativity during COVID. Uh, the the team building we did as a family, I don't recommend this necessarily for everyone, was we watched Tiger King.
Oh, but that's the entertainment value of that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had read something about it, I was like, that sounds stupid. And then two of our sons lived home with us at the time, and I heard them talking. I was like, "Are you talking about that Tiger show on Netflix?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I said, "You guys want to watch it? We'll do one episode a night." They're like, "Really?" And we did. We watched it, and it was the entertainment value unbelievable. Uh,
Yeah. I love that. And I think one of our marketing executives, he was the first one, this guy Adam, that he had a Tiger King Zoom backdrop, and it sparked conversation.
that's
And
brilliant.
it was brilliant. And it was one of those little things where half the people on a meeting probably were already watching it. I had heard of it, but then him talking about it, I was like, oh, Adam is watching this? Because the whole concept sounded ridiculous. But I think that little things like that and showing off, part of team building is being vulnerable or finding any opportunity to showcase who you are as a human being. And this marketing executive did a great job by advertising that. Just like you have your chickens in your backdrop, and that's like a talking piece, and that all the sports equipment, right? All those things could spark team building.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have a chicken or two. And then if the conversation brings it up, then we've got the giant red rooster of regret that can always make his appearance. So, but yeah, I didn't set out to do that with the backdrop, but you're absolutely right. People say, "What's the hockey stick? Tell me about the baseball bats." And so you get to learn a little bit based on the background. Just
Yep.
silly stuff. Okay, now we talked about dogs. Oh, no, no, we're not quite there yet. So I'm going to delete that. All right. You told me this. I want to say yes. Never mind. We're going to try one more time. Okay, so when we were in Orlando, I remember asking people what their next big chicken they wanted to fry was. And I remember what you told me. Do you remember what you told me?
National parks.
National parks. Absolutely. You said you wanted to go to 40 national parks in your 40s.
Hmm.
Okay. First off, how's the pursuit going?
I'm 12 in, so I have some work to do. And some of the parks I've gone to, like the one in Tennessee, Great Smoky Mountain, I'm going back there because I loved it so much and it's convenient for me. So I'm not counting that twice, but I've got a couple more in queue for this year. So I've got some work to do.
What's in queue?
So I'm doing I can never pronounce it. Is it Banff in Canada?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
counting parks in Canada too on my list, but there's
Sure.
I think 3 to 4 within a 1 to 2 hour drive, and I'm going for a week. So I'm hoping to knock out 3 or 4 in that week.
So cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and I think Utah has a bunch, so you can kind of dip,
5. Yeah.
dip around there. Yeah. So you can get them.
Hmm.
What chicken had to be fried to make the national park thing idea happen?
What chicken had to be
Or
fried?
did you just say, you know what, this is going to be cool, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, I don't know if I had to fry a particular chicken in order to do it. I mean, I had to make adjustments to other parts of my life, right? Like I have to do less of this in order to do more of this. So I think that maybe that planning and organization, I don't know if it was necessarily a chicken, but it was a couple conversations I had to have with myself, right, about my priorities and how they've shifted, over the years.
Uh, and that counts, right? Because the chicken decided to go, oh, but this is what you would normally do. You would stay home and go to the beach or whatever it is. So it's kind of that you got to get out of your comfort zone to make this happen.
Hmm.
All right. Now, it's not a national park, but I know you did this, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about it. You spent some time in roughly 2 to 3 miles across the Sandusky Bay from where I grew up in Sandusky, Ohio. Tell me about the trip to Sandusky. Why did you pick Sandusky? What did you do? Just any
Yeah.
impressions of there?
So I did 2 summers ago, I did a road trip. I left from Florida. I'm in Clearwater, Florida, and I did a national park tour. And I spent a week at Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas. I then went to Colorado and I drove. Did 3 out of the 4 national parks in Colorado. So I did Black Canyon of the Gunnison, which was super cool. And no one's ever been there. And it's in kind of a little section of wine country. And I stayed on at a goat farm Airbnb, which was really cool. I did Mesa Verde, which is my favorite one so far, and then the Rocky Mountain National Park. And then I did hit Kentucky on my way back. And then I was only an hour from Cuyahoga National Park in Ohio, like on my route back. So I was like, oh, I'll just stop there. Oh, my friend that lives in Huron, 15 minutes from Sandusky, I ended up then spending a weekend with her, and her daughter asked me, "Can you come to my birthday next year?" And it's in August. And I don't ever want to be in Florida in August anyways. And I'm so lucky that I can work as long as I'm within an hour of an Apex office, I can work because I go in once or twice a week. I can work anywhere. And so I was like, you know what? I can make that happen. And I got an Airbnb in Sandusky, 2.1 miles from Cedar Point, the theme park. And then I've decided that my new favorite way to decompress after work, I went 8 times to Cedar Point and I was on a roller coaster between 5:30 and 5:50, 8 times after work over that month. But it was half motivated by my friend and her kids asking me, and then also like, huh, I could totally spend a month hanging out at Cedar Point several times a week.
That is so cool. What's your favorite coaster at Cedar Point?
Oh gosh, I forget the names of all of them. What's the dinosaur one? It's right on the left when you walk in. It's the green one. It's the
Oh,
dinosaur themed one.
Raptor.
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 Yeah. How did I forget that? So I would say that one was my favorite. I loved that one.
I I think I don't know how old I was when I last rode a roller coaster, but it was late 40s, I think. I think that might be part of the stories of the Fry Your Chicken, riding a
It
roller
was.
coaster with my
Yeah,
son. Yeah.
it was.
Actually, what happened was we did Magnum, which is when it came out was like the bomb, and then they made bigger ones. And then the next year we did Millennium. And
Mm.
I liked Millennium. I have not gone back. I had to take a little bit of a pause because, as I mentioned, the Millennium, at least at the time, was downwind from what's that Chinese chain that has gold orange chicken?
Oh yeah, I can't think of the name of it. That one is smooth though. That ride
It
is.
is super smooth, but the wind was blowing from the Chinese orange. Keeping it real here on the podcast. Orange chicken Panda Express. It
I
did
wouldn't have
not show
gotten
up.
that.
It's like, it's the one with the panda bear. What's the name of
Yeah,
that? Oh yeah,
yeah.
Panda Express. So
I've never eaten there. I should eat there.
um, I think maybe once after that, but it was several years after that because it was just. I mean, we're stopped. I'm like, and as much as I may like Chinese food, when the stomach's not 100% and it blows right in your face, it's like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
So that was a chicken. Chicken. How could I? All right.
there you go. You got that going for it.
Fry your orange chicken. So, Erica, you've been with Apex for a while. Tell me what your first professional chicken was.
Well, I have a couple with Apex, but the one I'm going to call out that jumps to mind is I got invited to write, to publish something for a technical community, mssqltips.com. And I said no for the first year because I was terrified. And this was in maybe 2011. I was terrified to have something published because I knew at the time I was sensitive. And luckily, that's one of those things that I've worked on. That's one of my chickens, just being too sensitive and developing resilience. And I had to accept the fact that somebody was going to crush me. And um, I wrote my first article. It went fine. And they asked me to write, it's a technology community, but they wanted me to write on a series about finding good recruiters. How do you work effectively with recruiters? How do you vet a recruiter? So what are specific questions you can ask a recruiter? So that's kind of how this series started. Well, I've now written over 100 articles. I did get demolished. I got attacked on one of them. It felt like a personal attack, but in hindsight, it wasn't, which is another thing to keep in mind. But the second article I ever wrote, I had somebody that went off on me, and it was looking back, like about recruiters in general, and they had had a bad experience. But that first chicken was, and I wish it hadn't taken a year to fry it, but I did eventually because the guy who runs the site kept asking me to do it. And looking back, it's almost thrilling that I was able to do that. And then I got over my fear so quickly as soon as I had that first article published and it went well. Like that was the first one.
I love that you fried that chicken. And one of the chickens you talked about, at least that speaks to me, is every once in a while, I'll have somebody in the audience at a keynote that doesn't like what I'm saying and will barbecue me on the feedback afterwards. They fry me. And the first reaction is the chickens are like, see, I told you, they don't like you. Well, it's perhaps one out of 200.
Mhm.
And you put it out there for the 199, not the one. And so you put those articles out there to help people. And if somebody has a bad experience with a recruiter, that can't be helped. So that's the chicken you just have to fry. And I'm glad you did it.
Yeah. And I love what you just said because now going forward, every single event I do, I have the expectation that one person's not going to like it, but I focus on just 90/10 rule. The 90% walk away with at least two aha moments or lessons learned. And that's my personal KPI for myself. And I try not to get bogged down on the one or two people that have negative things to say because I think that's life, right? That's always going to
It
exist within
is.
life.
I have a speaker friend who said, if you're not pissing off 10% of the audience, you're not doing your job. Now, I don't go for 10%,
Yeah.
but it's true. If you want to cater to the people who are going to complain because you were too over the top, you're not serving the 90. So,
Hmm. Amen.
so all right, our next segment is we have a question from our puppy Darcy. She's asking it specifically for you, so I'm going to share the screen.
Okay.
Here we go. Here's Darcy. There she is. You can probably tell from the background, this is in Charleston, South Carolina. There's the pineapple fountain and more, but that's not important. I just know that you've been to Charleston. I've seen the
Mhm.
pictures on social media. Here is Darcy with her question. Ready? Here we go.
Hi, Erica. I'm thinking about having Mom and Dad take me to a national park. Which one is your favorite? Hi, Erica.
Oops. Well,
I'm thinking
you know,
about
once she starts talking, she just can't stop. She's such a
That's
so
so cute.
so. Little puppy Darcy wants to know, what is your favorite national park?
So I haven't hit a ton of like I haven't been to Glacier, Yellowstone, so keep that in mind. My favorite, hands down, for multiple reasons so far, was Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado for a couple reasons. One, the park itself is absolutely gorgeous, all the views, all the overlooks. I mean, that's pretty standard for most national parks. I thought the cliff dwellings was very cool. I did not realize that Mesa Verde National Park is home to the most preserved cliff dwellings in the US, over 600
Wow.
preserved cliff dwellings. Um, I didn't learn that until I went to the visitor center. I always go to the visitor center first.
Yeah.
I wish I had done more research because I could not end up doing a tour of the cliff dwellings, even though I was there for a week. I couldn't get a reservation
Mm.
on the list to do that. But I thought that was really unique. And then the proximity to Durango, it was 25 minutes away, and Durango is one of hands down the coolest mountain towns I've ever been to. And the Animas River goes right through it. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can bike along the river. And then there's so many hikes you can do outside of the park. So it's just close to a lot of cool things.
That's going on my bucket list. The cliff dwellings. You had me there in Durango. We've been talking about at some point going out west and doing a tour of national parks. And had we not had this podcast today, that would not have made the list. But I know my wife and sons would love to see that, and that just sounds so cool. And now I know, get the reservation in advance.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, Darcy, thank you for that question because it made some follow-ups for me as well.
Mhm.
All right.
We all
Now,
like getting more work, right? That's fun work.
exactly. Exactly. That's part of the reason I retired. One is I wanted to be a full-time professional speaker. Two is it's my definition of full-time.
Mhm.
So, you know, taking a couple weeks off in June to go to Ireland this year, and maybe next summer or later this summer we go to Mesa Verde.
Nice. Ireland's on my bucket list.
Oh, we've been there. We toured it for 5 days. This time it's all along the coast, starting like up in Northern Ireland, Giant's Causeway, all along the coast down to Shannon. So, yeah, yeah. I love getting out and seeing the world, this country and the world. All right, now we have a motto here on the Fry Your Chickens podcast. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So we now have a brand new introduction just for this season for the most important question. Once again, we are going to the screen to share the screen. There they are, Lord Cluckington and the Headbangers. They are going to introduce the next segment. Okay. Play it.
It's time for the big question because everybody cares. Fight one bear-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized bears.
Okay. We're going to take Lord Cluckington off the screen and turn back up the volume because we faded it out there for a second. And the big question is, it's a very serious question. I hope you've given it some advanced thought. Which would you rather fight, one bear-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized bears, and why?
Can I ask a clarifying question?
100%.
What kind of bears are they?
You get to choose.
Oh, okay.
Because you get to choose. I'm not giving you. You are on the right path with solving this very difficult problem. What bear do you choose?
Well, I would choose black bears. Not that I've been around grizzly or polar bears in the wild, but I have had an interesting amount of black bear sightings because I spent a lot of time in Gatlinburg on a little mountain, and I spent a month in Asheville, North Carolina, on a little mountain where bears were there, and they walked, within 10 feet of me. And so I'm going to choose black bears if I get that choice, under the assumption that there's no baby cubs, and therefore the black bears will not be aggressive. So I'm not nervous about being in the presence of black bears.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. A bear-sized chicken could inflict serious harm with just one peck. That could be the end of the fight. Black bears, I would have said Pooh bears, 100 little Winnie the Poohs. That would have been fun. But yeah, to your point, if it's a grizzly or a polar bear, I don't care what size they are, they're going to hurt you really badly. So great question. I love it when people have done some thinking and have a clarifying question. It makes the discussion that much better. So the answer is 100 black-sized bears. No. I'm going to leave that in there. It's so terrible. 100 chicken-sized black bears.
I love that. I really hope everyone does that question with their team. We do this thing at a lot of our icebreaker that a lot of our teams do. Get to know your neighbor questions like every Friday morning, but you can do this, once a month, depending on, how big your team is. But we pick really interesting questions like that, and just everyone has to answer it. It's not your average icebreaker question. It's like a get to know you deep question. So I love that.
It's time for two truths and a lie. I've done it 100 times.
Seriously though, and so it goes back to, you made a comment earlier, but I don't have time for this, or I'm too busy to do this, which is what a lot of leaders say. But every single one of our teams has a culture committee. I just went through the exercise of getting all of the culture committee point of contacts across our 100 teams, and we're going to do a kickoff with them where we share, best practices and ideas. But like, as a leader, one of the points of being a leader is delegation. Delegate this to one or two people on your team or in your group who love doing this anyway. It'll make their job more satisfying.
Exactly. Ain't rocket science. All right. The next important part of the podcast is 3 random questions from ChatGPT. You don't know them. I don't know them, but ChatGPT has them. Just haven't haven't said go yet. So here we go. And we're off. Let's see. Hello, Maple. Are you there?
Hey, I'm here, ready and listening. What's on your mind?
Well, it's time for the first random question for Erica Woods. Please ask the first question.
All right, here we go. Question 1. If you could choose any fictional character to join you on a team building activity, who would you pick and why?
Any fictional character.
Fictional. Robin Hood.
Nice. I forgot to tell you, you can throw any of these back to me too.
Yeah.
Robin Hood would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robin. I would love to get in the mind of Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Very good. I thought Sherlock Holmes at first because we could do our own little mystery. But
Ooh, that would be really fun too.
yeah, that was just the one that popped into my mind. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, right? Harry Potter.
So many good ones.
Yeah, that was a really good question. I got to tell her that.
Use this one again.
Yeah, Maple, that was a fantastic question. Let's save that one for later. But now let's go to the second question, please.
Absolutely. For your second random question, let's ask Erica. If you had to give a TED Talk tomorrow on something totally outside your expertise, what would you choose and how would you wing it?
I like the fictional one better.
Yeah, it's funny. I've only been to one or two Toastmasters meetings, but I love the concept of like picking a random topic. And so I'm slightly knowledgeable on this, but honestly, I would do best treehouse resorts across the world.
Oh,
I'm obsessed with tree houses and I want to learn more, and that's going to eventually be on my bucket list. But that, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Not an expert, but I have done a little research.
oh my gosh, that's so cool. I don't know if the show's still on anymore. Treehouse Masters, where they'd go and build a treehouse for people. So cool. I was like,
Mhm.
oh man, I want me one of those. But yeah, oh yeah, I love that idea. Um, yeah, I don't know what my topic would be because I can't beat tree houses. Maybe maybe Mars. I don't know. It's fascinating. I don't ever want to go there, but I think it's cool that people may
Yeah,
someday.
yeah,
I know it's a planet. Okay.
yeah. That's something.
Yeah, ain't nothing. Okay, here we go. Question number 3. All right, Maple, we are ready for the third and final question. Make it a good one and go.
Here's a fun one to wrap it up. If you could design your own quirky holiday, something totally out there, what would it celebrate and what traditions would it have?
You know, my first thought was I live in Florida. We have so many quirky holidays. I mean, we're about to have Gasparilla next weekend to celebrate pirates. Um, that would be one. I do love National Hot Dog Day. I mean, the thing is, there's already a day for everything. You just have to figure out what it is. I'm trying to think of, you know what? I have it because I'm in a dinosaur lover group text with 5 of my coworkers that also love dinosaurs. Only 2 of us are even in Florida. There's one in Ohio, one in Maine. Gosh, I don't even know where Leah lives at this point. I think she moved to Italy. Actually, she doesn't work with us anymore. But and maybe this exists, a dinosaur appreciation day. I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was gone by the time you got to Sandusky. I don't know if you visited Marblehead or not, but there was something called Prehistoric Forest when I was a kid. And they had like plastic dinosaurs and they would drive you around. And I will put in the link, yeah, I'm sorry, I will put in the show notes a link to a Wall Street Journal article because friends of our family bought it. And just you just went around. Kids loved it. You would push a button, you would hear them scream and tell the story, the dinosaur scream, not the kids, and tell the story about T-Rexes or Brachiosauruses or all that. And I remember going thinking it was the coolest thing ever. So, yeah,
Yeah.
dinosaur appreciation day. I'm gonna have to have, if I do it, it's got to be something rubber chicken. I'm gonna just, fry your chicken. Well, this comes out on Friday, as it
Ooh.
so happens we are recording it on Friday. But something with rubber chickens. I mean, you got to stay on brand. So,
Yeah.
and I love dogs, but I know there are dog appreciation days, if not months. So,
Yeah.
rubber chickens need to get the love or the
They do.
fry.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, I want you to tell me what's coming up from Apex in terms of your toolbox talks and activities, because I know that a lot of these are the public can watch the replay or be involved. So please tell me what's on the schedule.
Yeah, I love that. So we typically do 3 to 4 events for everybody. The more the merrier, I like to say, for a lot of our events, especially because we want to invoke knowledge sharing. So next week, actually, good timing. We didn't do this intentionally, but we're doing our ultimate team building playbook, part 3, with all fresh ideas, including like a hot sauce challenge and how do you actually, what's the checklist for doing that? We're going to talk about how one of our teams last year did multiple Mario Kart tournaments in the office. We're going to talk a little bit more about Office Olympics on that, and people can access those on demand. So we'll share that link, but that's coming up next week. And then we've got a range of technology and leadership sessions just on our calendar, which, I mean, you guys can just use this QR code if you want to go to that. And then I think one that I'm really excited about is we do acts of kindness every February. We put together bingo cards for both adults and kids. I personally love doing that with my coworkers, but also my friend group, and one of my nephews loves doing it with me. So that's always really fun. That's also on our website, and you can ping me if you ever want to do that. It's super easy to implement that with your team and use our friend ChatGPT to come up with different acts of kindness that you guys could do both in the office and outside the office or within a city. So I think those are 2 coming up that I'm really excited about.
Awesome. By the time this plays, you will hit the QR code to see the replay. And Eric, I love what you guys are doing with Toolbox Talks. I just really enjoy talking with you. I'm so glad we met back in 2023 in Orlando. And I just really, really like the culture that you are helping create with Apex Systems. And I wish that it would just spread all around the world, because it is what Fry Your Chickens is all about, and it's what being a good human is all about. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. I can't thank you enough. And where can people find you to keep in sync with what's going on?
LinkedIn. I think that's probably the answer a lot of your folks give, but LinkedIn is where you can find me.
LinkedIn, we'll put it in the show notes. Erica, thanks again for being on. And if you're out there, keep frying. Hey, it's Phil. Like today's show? Well, you'll clucking love my Fry Your Chickens newsletter on LinkedIn and Substack. Links are in the notes.